Pajama Bible Stories, Pajama Bible Stories, Pajama Bible Stories. Never had one lesson. Welcome to another episode of Pajama Bible Stories. I'm Father Nick, and I'm here with my kids.
Scotty.
And?
Lenny.
And we're here also with a couple of our animal friends. Last week we had Armadillo, and you named him. You named him, the name that we chose was Armando the Armadillo. You also named, and I'm sad to say, the gold and white zebra is not with us. There's a massive manhunt out looking for it. So if you see it, make sure you call it by its name, because it does have a name now, and that name was Sprinkles. That was one of the names, and that's the one we chose. So if you see our gold and white zebra, call out and try to get it back here for next episode. But we also have some new friends with us. Who do we got here?
Flamingo.
What is this? What is it?
It's a flamingo.
It's a flamingo. Okay, we got a flamingo and
A spinner dolphin.
pink flamingo and a spinner dolphin. All right, so name our animals, and hopefully they'll all be with us next week. All right, so now it's time
And
for.
this is Sprinkles for
No, that's not Sprinkles. Sprinkles is the missing zebra. Goose. Now it's time for us to get into the second part of the creation story. The creation. What was that sound? Did you hear that? There's a doorbell. There's a doorbell just rang. Why don't you go see who it is?
Come on, let's go.
Go. Go see who it is. Who's here?
It's Mailman Mike.
Hey, good day there. I got 2 letters for you. These 2 are yours. Do you know that baseball is mentioned in the Bible?
Where?
In the very first verse, in the beginning. All right, you guys have a good day now.
Okay, bye.
Have a good one.
What do you got? What happened?
Mail.
You got mail, huh?
Mail.
All right, mail. All right, we got. Looks like we got two pieces of mail here. Let's see what they are. Oh, the first piece of mail is from Costa, age 8, who asks, "Were the days of creation actual 24-hour periods, like actual days as we know it?" Which is a great question. What do you think? No? What do you think? No? It wasn't so much that they were days as we know them, but periods of time that took place. So that's a really great question. And these periods of time could have lasted long periods of time, but they were times in which God created and put things into order that were otherwise chaotic. Great question. And the second question comes from George, age 6, who asks, "Where do dinosaurs fit in with all this?" That's another great question, which leads from the last question to this question. So because it wasn't 24-hour normal days as we know it, dinosaurs happened somewhere before humans were created. That's what we've learned about dinosaurs, and that's also what we learn a little bit about how things happened over these periods of times. Things had evolved and changed and grew and then went away, and here we are discovering their bones and all that kind of cool stuff that has been left for us after they were gone, extinct. Okay? Cool, great questions. Thanks for asking. All right, now it's time for us to talk about the creation of humans. Pretty cool stuff. So, after God had created all the other things, including land animals and stuff, he waited till day 6 and he created humans. And when he created Adam, he said, "We're going to make Adam in our image and our likeness," which points to the fact that it wasn't just one person, but more than one person, the 3 people of the 3 persons of the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And he said, we're going to make Adam in our image and likeness, so we have a image of God built into us, okay? So, then he created Eve. Do you guys know what he created Eve out of?
Nothing.
No, he created Eve out of something. Out of Adam's rib. He put Adam to sleep, and he took a rib out of Adam and made Eve out. He made Adam from dust, Eve out of Adam's rib. Why the rib and not the toenail or the hair follicle? Do you know why? Any idea? So that his wife would walk side by side as equals with him. All right? So, there's a little tidbit for that. So he makes Adam and Eve, and he puts them in the garden, this beautiful garden. It has everything, yes.
Does he get his rib back?
Does he get his rib back? No, he doesn't really need it. He's all right without it. He's good without his rib.
What?
Yeah, whatever. You don't need all your ribs.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
You need to breathe.
Yeah, you breathe.
You need this many.
That many what?
Ribs.
Well, you got ribs right here. Your ribs. Okay. All right. So Adam and Eve are placed in this beautiful garden. Beautiful. It's got everything you ever needed. And in the garden, there's two trees: the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And God tells Adam and Eve, "Don't eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil." And what do?
They listen to the snakey.
Ah, yeah. So there's a serpent in the garden. There's a serpent in the garden. And it tells Eve, says, God said you can't eat from this tree? God's lying to you. And Eve's like, what? And he's like, yeah, if you eat from this tree, you'll be like God. And he doesn't want you to be like God. And so she eats from the tree. And then she gives it to Adam. And Adam eats from the tree, this fruit. And when they eat from the tree, their eyes are open to all this knowledge that they didn't have before, of good things and really bad things. And then they hear God walking in the garden, coming towards them. So they hide. They hide themselves.
No one can hide from God.
And no one can hide from God. But God asks them a question. He's walking and he says, where are you? Like he didn't know, right? And they said, we were hiding because they didn't have clothes at the time. They were naked and they were hiding. But they weren't ashamed before. Now they're ashamed because they were afraid to be naked. And
because they got the knowledge.
They got the knowledge, that's right. So they're hiding and God says, where are you? And they say, we were hiding because we were naked. And God says, who told you were naked? Did you eat from the tree I commanded you not to eat from? And does Adam just say, yeah, we did? No, it was a yes or no question. Did you eat from the tree? And he doesn't answer it with a yes or no. He says,
you did it.
yeah, that's right. He goes, it was the woman that you gave me, God, that caused me to eat from the tree. And by doing that, he broke communion. He broke communion with God and with his neighbor, right? That is where many of the church fathers say the fall really happened. It wasn't in the disobeying of so much, because God would have helped them along. It was deep in their heart that they wanted to be God without God. And so that's what Adam did. He pushed away God and he pushed away neighbor, right? And so God got together with himself, right? Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and they said, well, we can't leave them here in the garden. What if now that they have the knowledge of all this hate and jealousy and evil things, they don't know how to handle this stuff. What if they eat from the tree of life and live forever? Because that's in the garden too. So they take him out of the garden. They push him out of the garden. They tell him of all the consequences that happen, because now they're not allowed to live in the garden. And ultimately death is part of that consequence. And they have to live outside the garden. Here's what you need to know. One, that when Adam accused God and neighbor, he pushed away he pushed God and neighbor away, isolating himself, right? But when Jesus came, many years later, he undid that. Because he told us when he was asked what the greatest commandment was. They asked him, what's the greatest commandment? He said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. And the second greatest commandment is love your neighbor as yourself. Undo what Adam did, right? Bring people back into communion, right? Bring God, be in communion with God too. And so then he went up on the cross and showed us what it looked like when he died on something that connects us to God and connects us to neighbor, right? That's the cross. Because the cross, here's the trick thing, the cross is the tree of life. Yeah. So, and that's when we sacrifice in love. we participate in that cross, especially when we participate in the tree of life when we take communion, right? When we are in communion with God all together. That is when we participate and partake of the tree of life. So that's what you need to know. The second part you need to know is that it was not a punishment that they were kicked out of the garden. They weren't punished. It was an act of mercy so that they didn't take from the tree of life. So that Christ could come down the road and undo everything that Adam and humanity messed up. So that's this week. I don't know if there's anything else. Any questions? If you have questions, let us know. Write them in the comments below. All right, make sure you name our flamingo and our spinner dolphin in the comments. If you have questions, let us know. Write them in the comments. Email me. We still need some pictures. Check the comments for what pictures we need for a couple weeks from now. All right, that's all I got. Have a good week. We'll see you next time, same time, Thursdays. Blessings. Crosses. See ya. Make sure you name our flamingo. Okay, what's your question?
Andrew spinning
What
dolphin.
are we gonna do on Sunday?
What are we gonna do on Sunday? We'll go to church.
Okay.
Why are you asking? You goose.
Bye.
Jump over that. Bye. Make sure you. Okay.